Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of Tyria Talk. My name is Richie, and this show is all about the upcoming MMO, Guild Wars 2. This is episode number 18, and today we're going to be talking about the comparison between Star Wars The Old Republic's leveling experience compared to what we believe is going to be the leveling experience in Guild Wars 2. Now, I realize this could be a little bit of a controversial topic. I'm not trying to make this into a flame war against Star Wars or anything like that. You know, Star Wars is a great game. It's very, very different than Guild Wars 2. I'm not doing a direct comparison, but I wanted to comment a little bit about what I've experienced going from, you know, level 1 up all the way to level 50 in Star Wars The Old Republic, and just some of the snags that I encountered along the way, and what I think Guild Wars 2 and what ArenaNet's going to be doing with Guild Wars 2 to kind of alleviate those kind of things. So this is not a Star Wars The Old Republic sucks and Guild Wars 2 is awesome type thing. This is just, let's just compare these mechanics and get to it. Now, the first thing I'd like to talk about is the fact that Star Wars The Old Republic makes it a little bit difficult to play with your friends during the leveling experience. I mean, when the game first came out, my friends and I were all just starting out. We're all on the same planet. And we had, like, I have to say, like, maybe 1 or 2 play sessions where we were all, like, on vent together and playing and just doing the quests and the missions on a planet all together. And then within a couple of days of the launch, we had a couple guys that were, you know, several levels ahead, maybe 4 or 5 levels ahead. We had a couple guys that were a couple of levels behind. And then suddenly it almost became impossible to play together while doing the missions and the quests and stuff. Some people were in a different planet than we were, and even if you were on the same planet, you know, a lot of the quests and such in the story was so linear that's stuff I've already done before. So it's basically kind of, you know, what am I going to do? Wait a few hours while you catch up, or, you know, so it quickly wow, that was a lot of stuttering there. It quickly became an experience that we were all doing solo. We were leveling up solo. Now, granted, we did team up for some flashpoints so that we could do, like, you know, the dungeon type experience together, which was great. But even so, there were times when the people that were ahead out-leveled the rest of us, and you know, we couldn't, you know, unless we were dragging them through and they were slaughtering everything with one hit, it wasn't really a compelling experience. And we played a lot of PvP matches, war zones, and that was great. We could just queue together regardless of level, and so that was awesome. So when I'm saying this, I'm talking mainly about the missions and the quest experience on the planets, the story. So let's look at Guild Wars 2's solution for this. In Guild Wars 2, you have your personal story, which kind of acts like, you know, your class stories in Star Wars The Old Republic. You do get quests, and it is somewhat linear, and you can go through those, you know, as part of your character's progression. But there's no, like, when you're in a certain area, there's no pick up certain amount of quests and whatnot and go. You're basically experiencing dynamic events as you just explore the world. So let's say in this scenario, you know, there's a couple people a couple levels higher than me, a couple people a couple levels lower than me, but we're all going to play together tonight. We can all hop on vent, we can go to a specific area, and we can explore that area together. Now, a couple things happen that make this thing work a lot better. First of all, if anybody's higher level or lower level than the content we're doing, you get sidekicked. Your level gets scaled, normalized to that area so that you either come down in power or go up in power to meet that challenge. Now, the people that are higher level are still going to be more powerful than the average person that would be in this level naturally because they've unlocked, you know, different traits and different skills and different things, skill slots. And they probably might have better gear or whatnot. But in the most part, it's not going to be just, you know, boring for them. They're not going to be able to one-shot everything. It's still going to be content that they can experience. Plus, no one needs to have quests in their log. You don't have to be like, okay, what quest are we doing? Do you have, did you get that quest from that guy? No. Can you try to share it? No, that doesn't work. You know, so you have this thing where you're doing content, but you're not really benefiting from it as much as everybody else is because you don't have the quests. There's none of that. You just walk up and look, all you guys get this notification that there's an event nearby. You can all contribute to it, and you all get experience points, gold, and karma points, for completing these things. So not only can you queue up for world versus world together, you can queue up for competitive PvP together, even if your levels are different. And once you get to higher levels, you can even do dungeons all together. Even if people are higher, they will still scale down. But in addition to all that, you can still quest and go around the world together and discover dynamic events. So there you have it. I think this is going to be a better experience. I'm going to be able to actually play with my friends while, we're leveling up. And we don't have to kind of wait for each other or any kind of things like that. So overall, I think that's a great system. The second thing I'd like to discuss, if my dog won't stop barking, if my dog will stop barking. Are you done? The next observation I have is that Star Wars: The Old Republic doesn't really encourage you to play along with strangers that you meet while you just happen to come upon in the world, which is strange for a massively, online game. And actually, it's not strange in that there's a lot of games like this, like World of Warcraft and Lord of the Rings Online, any of these things that have like a quest where you have certain conditions you have to meet, and if you tag a monster, meaning you're the first person to hit the monster, then you get all the reward from that monster. You get the experience, you get the quest credit, and you get the loot from the monster. Any game that does that kind of approach kind of makes it so that anybody out in the world is competition for you. Because, if you're trying to get your quest done, kill 8, orcs, if somebody else is killing orcs, they're going to slow down your progression. So, Star Wars continues this thing, and I have a bad example that I'm kind of ashamed to admit, but I'll say it anyway. When I was first starting out, I might have been, level 10. Maybe I was level 10. I happened upon a rare monster. It was a champion elite monster on a planet, and I just happened to kill it. And it was dropping really good loot for the level. It was dropping like blues and oranges that you could sell or you can kind of equip, and it was far better than anything I had. And I noticed that this creature had like a 15-minute respawn timer. So as I was going questing through the area, I'd constantly pop back over there and see if the monster was up. This was Sharp Claw on Drummond Koss, in case anybody was wondering. But there was one time where I went back to just check on him, and he was already fighting some other guy. And I was running over there just to see what was going on. And I noticed that the person that was attacking it wasn't doing very well and was most likely going to die. And I actually just sat there and watched the person die. And I know that's crappy, that's a jerk thing to do, but I was thinking, hey, you know what? If he dies, then I get my turn on the mob, and then I can go ahead and kill it and get the loot. Only one of us gets the loot, only one of us gets the experience. So what is my incentive to help him out? Now, I could have just been a nice guy and did it. But frankly, I didn't, and don't judge me because you know you've done that too. But anyway, that's the kind of thing. That's part of the game mechanics. That's how the game works. The first person to touch it gets the reward. So, how does this work in Guild Wars 2? Well, kind of differently, a lot differently, and I think a lot of games are going to kind of adapt this type of approach, and probably other games have already done it. I'm not trying to say that this is unique or anything like that, but I like how this plays out. Basically, if anyone contributes to killing a monster or helping a dynamic event, you don't even have to be in the same group as somebody else. You still get a full share. You get your full amount of experience points and gold and loot off of the mob. You still get a roll on the loot table for just helping. And yeah, so if I happen in this scenario in Guild Wars 2, somebody's like about to die fighting this big powerful monster, sure, I'm going to jump right in. I'll try to heal him, or I'll try to help, or I'll do something to try to, sway the tide of this thing, because I'm going to get rewarded the same as this other guy. So just running around the world, anytime you see someone, if they're in a down state, I'm going to try to revive them. If they're fighting monsters, I'm going to try to help them, because the mechanics of the system reward you for doing so. And I think that's great, because now you can build community, and you don't have to do, in all fairness, Star Wars: The Republic puts in a lot of these heroic areas on the planets, and these are areas of the map that have missions assigned to them and different things, and greater rewards in most cases. But they typically take 2 or 3 or even 4 people to kind of take out these areas. So it kind of that encourages you to find other people and group up. But the thing is, you're basically sitting around at the edge of these zones looking, you're just like, oh, look at those high level guys. And you're trying to type out into the general chat, hey, I want to go in here and do this mission. Anybody want to help? And I've done that a couple times, and you kind of have this awkward, you have to create a group with the person. You have this awkward chat. You're like, hey, how are you? And they're like, great. And then you play for like 15 minutes to do this quest, and then you never see each other again. So it's kind of like this forced, kind of awkward, strangery type feeling. It's more organic to just see somebody needs help, you jump in, you help them, and everyone gets credit. There's none of this inviting and different thing kind of mechanic that needs to take place. So that's that. The last thing I'm going to mention, which I'm going to mention very briefly because I did a whole rant on it before, is just the getting around in Star Wars: The Old Republic makes me want to choke an ostrich. Like that, because there's these, oh, you have to watch the other video. There's the whole rant I go on about getting around in Star Wars. It's painful. It's painful. Okay. And, in Guild Wars 2, it's probably not going to be painful. I haven't experienced it myself, but you run around the world and you unlock these waypoints. And then at any time you can hit M to bring up your map. You can click on any of these little blue circles on your map, and you will be teleported there for a small fee, I believe. I think there's a small fee to that. But you can map travel all over the place instantly. There's no cooldown on it. There's no waiting for it to recharge. You probably have to be out of combat, I would imagine, to do that. But other than that, you just zip around anywhere you've unlocked, and that sounds beautiful. I don't know why I said that like that, but it probably didn't sound very good. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up this week. Thanks so much for watching. As usual, please leave me a question or a comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Again, this is not a Star Wars versus Guild Wars debate, even though the comments are going to be a Star Wars versus Guild Wars debate. Nothing I can do about that now. I've unleashed it to the hounds of the internet. So leave me a question or comment. Click on the subscribe link so you can be notified when I release future videos. Share my videos with your friends, guys. Put it on the forums, on different websites, wherever. Spread it so I can get some subby love. Give me some subby love. And then you can also contact me on Twitter and Google Plus and Facebook. I'll put the links below or on the screen or both. Click on them, and I will promise to do some daily video game musings for you to chuckle or just shake your head at and be like, what? I think I posted something on Twitter today about choking on couscous. Yeah, so that's good. So if you want more of that kind of stuff, subscribe and follow and all that kind of good stuff. I'm out of here. Take care.